Man, if you are excited to be here, let me hear you make some noise. Good stuff, good stuff. My name is Chris Blue. I don't plan to be before you really long. Before I jump in, I'd like to say thank you to Mark and his team for having me here. Thank you to Dr. Keenan and the NEDC family. And I gotta say thank you to everybody that's in this room, because without you, this milestone would not be a reality. So give yourselves a hand, will you? I'm going to share with you briefly about something that I'm not sure many of us in this room may have considered. You see, in life, it's really easy to highlight the hardships and miss the opportunity to celebrate the victories. So this morning, what I'd like to do is, I'd like to take some time, not a lot of time, but I'd like to take some time and embrace our victory and expose or highlight the commonality that we all share in this room, a commonality that I don't think many of us witness or many of us realize we have in common. I want you to do something for me. If you haven't noticed by now, I'm an energy guy. You know, I like to move. I like to talk to people. I'm very expressive with my hands. I'm not directing traffic with an airplane. I'm just really expressive. So I have you talking a lot. Look at someone next to you and say, I am. Come on, talk to them. Say, I am favored. Find someone else in the room, shout at them, say, hey. You are favored. Here's what I think. This is my personal definition of the word favored. Selected and preferred due to the possession of greatness for the sake of purpose. Before I do anything in life, I ask myself one simple question. I don't get all deep and try to sound all philosophical when I'm asking myself this question, but I ask myself one simple question. Before I do anything in life, I ask myself, why? Why? Why am I going here? Why did I buy the iPhone instead of the Android? Because it's better. Why am I here today? Why are we here today? I'm here today because I have an assignment. You are here because you've completed an assignment. And while you're thinking the children, your family is an answer to your prayers, I truly believe God is thinking you, each and every one of you, are an answer to his call. Here's what I believe. I believe we are called to do something bigger than what we are, which means we are all responsible for accomplishing something really great. Does anybody believe that? Yeah, you can clap it up there. Isaiah 49:1-5 says this. It says, the Lord called me from the womb, formed me from the womb to be a servant. Now, I'm the youngest of 7 kids. My mother's here in the building. Raise your hand, mama. That's my mother, my beautiful mother. She gave birth to 5 boys and 2 girls. And I'm the youngest of those kids. My head isn't naturally this big. I got beat up a lot as a child, but you know, that's what comes with the territory of being the baby. So I'm the youngest of 7 kids, and we grew up, you know, we didn't have a whole lot. We grew up poor. We grew up really, 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 really poor. In fact, we were so poor at one point, my brother looked at me one day and said, hey man, I don't think we're poor. I said, what do you mean? He says, I don't think we can afford the O and the R. He said, we po. Anybody know anybody who used to be po? Well, you know one now. Life was hard and it was a challenge, but even in the darkest of times, and I'm sharing this story for a reason, even in the darkest of times, I always had a dream that one day I would grow to do something special and accomplish something really, really great, not only for myself, but also for society. And then you fast forward years later, and then this happens. This is a picture of me on NBC's The Voice. Next to me, to my left, is Carson Daly. To my right is a dear friend, Lauren Dusky. We're the last two. My journey started in Atlanta, Georgia. I stood in a line for over 12 hours. It's about 10 to 15,000 people in this line, and we were all at the open call. And I get in the room, and I'm the last person to audition inside the room. You fast forward a few months later, I get to Los Angeles, California. I'm the last artist or contestant to audition on stage before the judges. And you fast forward another 6 or so months later, and I'm one of the final contestants standing on stage. You see, I'm looking to my right, and the reason why I'm looking to my right is because my entire family, including my wife, raise your hand, baby. My wife they were all, yeah, you can clap it up for her. My entire family, wife, we're all sitting in a row to my right. And I'm looking over there because I'm like, if I find out none of y'all are praying right now, there's going to be some hell to pay. But luckily, thankfully, they were all praying. And I was crowned season 12 winner of The Voice. Two things happened to me in that moment. First thing happened to me was, man, I cannot wait to get back down south so I can eat me some barbecue. And then this happened to me. I realized this. All it takes is one time to beat the odds and everything becomes possible. So what are the odds? XX plus XY equals 1 over 400T. Scientists believe that the probability of you and I, and everyone that is here in this room right now, the probability of you and I being here today is 1 out of 400 trillion. Just let that sink in for a second. 1 out of every 400 trillion. What does that mean? That means every single person in your bloodline, every single person in your children's bloodline had to have been born the day they were born, at the time they were born, at the place they were born, and that even includes your crazy uncle. I had some crazy uncles, God rest their souls. I don't have any crazy uncles now, I just got a crazy brother, but that's beside the point. Everything had to line up perfectly in order for all of us to be in this room right now. So what does that mean? That means everything you've been through in your life as parents, everything you've gone through up until this point had to happen to you so that today could happen for you. And I truly believe that God knew. God knew if you can just beat the odds one time, everything becomes possible. If you ask me, here's what I think favored people look like. Favored people are fortunate. If being rich is a state of wealth and being wealthy is a state of generational blessings, being fortunate is the state of infinite abundance. What does that mean? That means no matter how hard it may get in your life, no matter how difficult the times may come or how many hardships you face, because you are in this room, you are favored by God. Because you are favored by God, you're fortunate, which means somehow, some way, you always seem to manage to land on your feet. Favored people have the advantage. We can go to the next one now. What does that mean? When you have the advantage, you'll understand that favor gives you things that money cannot buy. Favor allows you to shake hands with people that hard work can't provide. I remember, I'll never forget, I'm in New York City, and myself, Alicia Keys, and Ed Sheeran are downstairs in Ed Sheeran's artist dressing room. We were invited to a show. And I'm thinking to myself, hey man, I won The Voice, but I don't think I'm cool enough to hang out with Alicia and Ed Sheeran. But that's what favor does. It puts you in places and in positions that most people don't have access to. Favored people are also validated. This is what Psalms 139:14 says. It says, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. Because God created you, because the Father shaped and He formed your children, instantly you're validated. That's what the favor of God does for you. Here's another one. This is a big one. People who are favored by God are oppressed. You'll find yourself in situations and predicaments that are hard and difficult. But your encouragement is this, Matthew 5:11, blessed are ye when men shall revile you and persecute you and shall say all manner of evil against you falsely for my sake. Romans 5:3-4 says, suffering never produces nothing. Suffering produces endurance, and endurance, character, and character, hope. Your journey was not an easy journey. The road wasn't an easy road, but by the grace of God, we can all stand, sit, shout, and rejoice in this room because He's favored you. Favor isn't always pretty. You have good days, you have bad days, but when God's favor is on you, the hand of God is also on you. And when you are favored by God, finally, you are rewarded. John Canfield had this to say. Man, I thought I made these slides a lot bigger. John Canfield had these to say, the longer you hang in there, the greater the chance that something will happen in your favor, no matter how hard it seems. The longer you persist, the more likely your success. I started my talk with you guys this morning asking a simple question. I asked, why? Why me? Why us? Why my family? And I actually shared those sentiments. My wife and I, just 16 months ago, decided we wanted to have a baby. I'll never forget, my wife looked at me. She said, babe, we've been married for 3 years now. We've been knowing each other for 6, and these have been some of the most wonderful years of my life. And she said, I've learned one valuable lesson in the past 6 years of knowing you. And I said, what's that, babe? She says, for the past 6 years, I've been taking care of the biggest baby in the world. So it won't hurt to add another one. I said, well, yeah, I can't argue that. So we started trying. We started trying, and we were trying. We kept trying. I enjoyed trying. But nothing would happen. And we kept trying, and we went to see Dr. Keenan. And we kept trying, and we had, everything checked out between the both of us. And Dr. Keenan even himself was like, I don't understand. I don't understand what's going on, why nothing's happening. And we just kept persisting. We kept trying. We kept going. And then finally, something happened. We got pregnant. We were both so excited. It was the happiest day of our lives. Only to find out that baby didn't survive. So just a few days later now, I have to take a flight. I'm in New York for work. And I wake up the next morning to 15 missed calls. And I'm like, what is this? What's going on? Do I need to get back home? 15 missed calls. And I pick up the phone and I call my wife on FaceTime, and she holds up a pregnancy test, and the test said positive. But I was really conflicted. I was confused. I'm like, but wait a minute, God, you took the child. The child wasn't here 2 days ago. 2-3 days later, my wife is saying she has a positive pregnancy test. One or two things happened in that moment. I had two thoughts in that moment. First thought was, did the mailman come by my house when I left? No, I'm kidding. She knows I tease her about that all the time. My other thought was, I can't wait to get back down south so I can eat some barbecue. I get home and she was right. We were pregnant. But in that season of asking God, why, God simply told me, I had to take you through this so that you can arrive at the place that I've called you to. Everything that we experience in life is done for purpose, on purpose, through purpose. And I'm so excited because 16 months after that initial phone call with my wife, our little bundle of joy, Alina Dior, arrived in the world. You guys say, oh, but that's expensive right there. I'm telling you right now. She is controlling my house and emptying my bank account. But that's my bundle of joy. We ask God why a lot of times. Sometimes you get an answer, sometimes you don't, but I'm here to provide an answer for each and every one of you in this room. The reason why God had to take you through an uncommon story is simply because He trusted that you would be able to give Him the uncommon glory. Now, the journey is only beginning. You'll have more hard days. You'll face more difficult times. But remember this, God has favored you. And when you are favored, you're fortunate. That means you'll come out on top. You have the advantage. That means you'll be positioned in places that most people can't. You're validated, which means you don't need the approval of anyone. You'll be oppressed, so expect some haters. But finally, you'll be rewarded. And I'll leave you with this, one of my favorite verses. Romans 8:18 says, for the suffering of this present time is not worthy to be compared to the glory that shall be revealed within us. Keep pressing toward the mark for the prize of the high calling through Christ Jesus, because each and every one of you are favored. God bless you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, NEDC. I was super honored to be here. Again, I hope you guys have a great, great day. And again, God bless you. Thank you.